Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one, and inside this great big box, well, it's not massive, but it's a lovely size box, is a Yankee candle jar. And it's one of the jar candles. I can't remember the number of ounces that are in the jar. And I don't have another one that I can't show you, but it's a good size box that when it's finished, it's 2¼ by 2¼ it's not at all, it's 2½ by 2½ inches, and then 3½ inches to there. 6½ by 6½ by 9 centimetres. That's the size of it, and it's lovely. And I've got this lovely sort of domed finish on the top. It's just for show, it's not for anything, but I love it. And it is using, and I can't remember the name of the paper. Oh, my brain's gone to mush. Love Blossoms, the DSP 6x6 stacks. That's the one that's on the front. I'm going to show you how to make it now. I did a rose red version because that's the flower in the background. I'm doing a garden green version because there's garden green on the paper, so I thought I'd go with that. So your piece of cardstock that you need is 8 by 10½ inches, which in metric is 27 by 21 centimetres. And all of the measurements will be in the description bar. So, no, they won't at all. All of the measurements will be on my blog, and the blog link is in the description bar. Let me just switch my brain on or inhale more coffee. So on the long side, score it at 2½, 5, 7½, and 10 inches, which in metric is 6½, 13, 19½, and 26. And then turn it round and score it at 2½ and 6 inches, which is 6½ and 15½ centimetres. So it's very slightly different from metric, but only a little bit. You can definitely still fit the jar in it. So burnish your score lines. Don't think I made a green version of, or a green box with this paper. I might have done, I don't remember. I do so many projects that I forget. So, whoops. Okay, so when you're holding it, you've got a wider bit at the bottom than you have at the top. So the thin one is the top, this is the bottom. So we need to cut away this part here. Oh, my paper snips. So cut away this section. Oh, well, let's get a bigger pair of scissors. And then cut straight up the score lines. And then do exactly the same on the other side, on the top. So cut away that edge piece and then cut straight up the score line. So just do it basically mirror image. So I've got my shallower bit at the top and the bit at the bottom, so you can see I've separated all of these, top and bottom. And I've got that little part there. Now, I've got my panels, and my panels are Whisper White first, and then the panel over the top. And I did that because I wanted to be able to get all 4 pieces from one piece of designer series paper. So I wanted them no more than 3 inches tall, because I wanted to get them from the full width. So the white bits are 2¼ by 3¼ inches, and the patterned panels are 2 by 3, and in metric, 6 by 8½ centimetres. And these are 5½ by 8 centimetres. So basically you just stick the whole lot on, really. So let me lay these out and get some sail out. And they go all the way along there, and obviously you need 4 of them, 1 for each side. I could have gone with a bigger border, and I could have just gone with DSP, but I like little layers. I like big borders on some projects, and I like small borders on others. I am that fickle. So these ones go on top. So there you go, so you've got little borders. If I flip it over, you see it would have been too big a border. It would have been too big for me, for my mood. So I like the, oh look, I just flipped that, there we go. I like the double border, I would say, is the best way to describe it. Okay, so I'm going to put some fast fuse along here so I can close up the box. And then that's the back, so I'm going to fold in my two sides, and if you have got a heavy jar or something like that, put plenty of adhesive on. I'm just going to put one layer for video purposes, but if you've got something heavy you don't want it falling out to the bottom, although to be fair, with my sample there is only the one layer of paper, and there's no issue with that whatsoever. And then where's my front? So that's the front of the box. So these two are going to fold over on the sides, and I've just realised I put the top and the bottom the wrong way around. Doesn't matter. So I've got the shallower bit at the top. I should have had the shallower bit at the bottom. This is what happens when you design your projects and then you take weeks before you film it. All I'm doing is I'm just curling these parts with my bone folder to get it to bend over, because it's going to sit over like that. Actually, that might be better. That was maybe a little bit excessive at the top. But as you can see, my bottom doesn't match there, but it does there. That's okay. So I'm just going to hold that with my fingers. And I'm going to grab my paper piercer first to mark where I want my holes to go. And this is going to go straight through into my finger, isn't it? It didn't, but I hope it's gone. Did that mark all the way through? Do you know what, let's just wing it. I've got, I can't remember what size this is. I want to say this is the 1/8 of an inch. So handheld punch. And I'm going to, oh, it did go through both. Oh, that's okay. Maybe I didn't need to mark a hole. There we go. So through both parts. Let me just establish where the front is again. There's my front. And I've got the Whisper White organza ribbon. And you want to come through the one that is going to be at the back first. So pull both ends through. And all this is doing is just closing out the box. It's not doing anything major. Well, actually, that is probably quite major. So that's the back of the box, and then you feed it underneath the panel that's the front of the box. That one as well. And as you gently pull it together, it lines itself up. And you can tie your bow on the top. What a clever way to close a box. Well, I think so anyway. And it means that it can be opened and closed. Oh look, I've just let go of that. I love this ribbon, but it's slippery. I don't think it likes me as much as I like it. I think it's a little bit temperamental. Ribbon has its own mind, you know. I'm getting better at this bow malarkey, aren't I? Let's just trim off those bits. And a little bit of stamping going on, and I've got the Bloomin' Love stamp set, which matches all of this suite. And I'm going to go with Friend. Here, let me get a little block. I'm going to scrap up with the white, and I'm going to do the same as I did before. So I've got my rose red. And I'm going to punch that out with the decorative label punch. Slightly to the bottom, and then with this one I went with this flower and that one. I'm going to go with this one and that one. So get a couple of tiny blocks. There's a little diddy one. Let's grab another one. That's the one I want. It's a solid image. And just randomly stamp across them. And I've got some Blushing Bride over here. Oh, I prefer it with the solid image, I think. It's that bit more noticeable, I reckon. And then some dimensionals on the back of this. Oopsie daisy, let's move that ink pad. So I've taken off the backing, I've picked up way too many, but that's okay. I've got some linen thread, and I'm just going to de-kink it. So I'm just going to run the back of my scissors across where the edges are, and just loop all over the place basically. And I'm just going to stick my loops to the dimensionals. It works for me. There we go, and then that can still stick down on the front there. And I've got a brand new packet of pearls. Love breaking into a new packet because I want the tiniest ones to go in the centre of these flowers. I can't pick them up. And I'm going to scatter a couple more. One more. There we go. And that, like I say, I don't know if you... There you go, you can hear it. It's got the big Yankee candle jar. And it's cute. I think I actually like that slightly shallower. I think I do. But it hasn't made a difference on the base at all. So yeah. Cute project. I hope you like it. Thank you ever so much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.